and Touchlines. This evening, we are having a discussion about the new Premier League season coming on. If you see me in a Man United jersey, that doesn't mean I've moved to Man United, but I'm a bit in favor of them when it comes to the transfers they are doing, and I'm happy about what Ruben Amorim and Man United are looking for. Today, we'll look into the season and see how are the teams preparing for the upcoming season, which teams we are tipping to get into the top four, which player we think can win the Golden Boot, who can win the best assist maker, and also we'll be looking at which signing would be a top signing and which signing may be a flop also for the start of the season. So I'll speak with my pundits. We'll have a discussion on the EPL, what we are expecting. The likes of Man City, they've been quiet. The likes of Tottenham, they've been quiet. We'll look into that and know what is best for the upcoming season. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, and also share to a friend who is also interested in football like you watching us. And also our Telegram group, our fantasy league is going on. Scan the QR code, join the Telegram group, be part of the conversation. When the league starts, we'll have a lot of conversations on there. And also our fantasy is also running. So join and be part of it. So let me start with Prince. Let's look at us now into next season. For several seasons now, Arteta has come closer in winning the league. Next season, with the signings Arsenal have added to their setup, I think this is the time Arsenal can go on and win the Premier League. And which team are you tipping to give Arsenal the fight for that Premier League title?
I think, first of all, I want to thank everyone who has tuned in and is watching this program. We would have to build up a system that will favor Gokras. On the other hand, I'm so happy at least we are early stage. So at least if there's something needs to rectifies it so it doesn't become a problem going into the season. So at least I think if we have a Gokras who is in his top form, there are some games that we drew last season, there are some games that we drew last season. At least we can pick up the 3 points and help us going into the league. So at least if you're able to win the smaller games in a league, at least when it comes to the big ones, you can fight for a draw. You understand? Because one advantage thing we have as a team is our defense. Our defense is very solid. I think for some months now, you hardly score that much goals against Arsenal. So if the defense is that good, we just need people who can provide a striker with the balls to put it behind the net. And that's what we need. I think we need to get a left winger. I don't know why we are not letting Martinelli go. I was hearing the news this week that we are looking at considering Lookman from Atalanta, which is a very nice deal. If the AZ doesn't pull through, I think Lookman will be very good with the flanks. At least he helps puts the ball to help the striker. So going into the season, I wish Gokras to find rhythm early. When he finds his rhythm early, and we get an attacking midfielder, add up to what we have with Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, and Ethan Warner. We get someone else prolific, and also someone else at the left wing. Some of the games that we're drawing last season, if you can pick up the 3 points, then now the big six, which we have a good record against the big six clubs in APL. So at least if we can solve these issues, I think we are good to go.
Okay, so looking at some of the signings you mentioned, you were like, you are looking for a left winger. But Arsenal went in for Noni Madueke, and now looking at adding the likes of it between Eze and also a player like Lookman into your setup. Looking at these signings, do you think it wasn't necessary to go in for Madueke, or you think Madueke comes in as a replacement for Saka when injury sets in? And also, I asked the question on which team do you think will be a big challenge for us now going into next season?
I think Liverpool. I think let me touch on the team before I come to the signings. I think Liverpool will be a tough challenge, just like they was last season. With the signings that they've made, and looking at adding up Isak, I think Liverpool will be a tough side to battle with. I'm just praying and hoping they can also choose some of the games against Everton, which is their rival, some of the games against Bournemouth and all that, United and all that games. If they can drop points over there, at least it helps. You might not be winning all your games in a season, but at least when your opponent gets to drop points, at least you also take advantage of that and it helps you. That's what we went through last season. Whenever Liverpool drop points, we also end up dropping points. You get so at least if we get to pick up some points, some valuable points, and get to add up, that's how the league is being played. Because it's the long season. For the signings, I don't have a problem with either Madueke coming in or adding more signings because it's a long season. We are going to play over 60 games. So the players' fatigue will set in, tiredness, injuries. So I heard we are looking at getting a defender from the French League One, centre back. We should get all those boys coming in. There's nothing with bringing in the signings. So far as their wages are not too much for the club to afford. Let's get in a signings. Man United is doing a similar thing. They are signing the players. I think they are getting Sesko. They are looking at getting Baleba. No, you need to get in the players that at least it makes the squad balance. So there's not too much stress on the entire team, on the quality players when we get into January thereabout. So the signings, I don't have a problem with bringing in Madueke or whoever that comes in. At least you should come and beef up the squad for us. But it's a challenge. We need to go in prepared.
Okay. As you said, Arsenal needs to go in very, very prepared. So if we are talking about prepared, there's a promotion running. Game Center is running a promotion. A squad level your loyalty. You get to buy 4 games from them and get a free game. So you can look up below the screen. You see their information is there. Their QR code, their number is also available for you to contact them and also get your games. If you're a PlayStation fan, there's a chance for you to also take advantage of their offers running. Okay, so Sam, let's look at Man United. With me, I think this transfer window, the club weren't expecting more from them was Man United, especially when it comes to trying to convince players to come. They are not in the Champions League, they are not in any European competition. But as of now, they've been able to convince Cunha to join, Mbeumo to join. Now Sesko is on his way. Baleba is the new conversation coming up. Do you think, looking at your club's transfer, how are you going to rate the transfer they've done, especially this transfer window? And also going into the season, do you think now is a chance Man United needs to get back to their glory days and get into the top 4? And also, which team are you looking at giving Man United that competition in that top 4 race?
Yeah, okay. So it's been an unpredicted transfer season for Manchester this season. Honestly, some of the names that we are wrapping up were not names that I foresee or I thought we could get in this transfer season. But it's so far it's been a positive transfer season with Cunha, with Mbeumo, and with Sesko incoming, and with the names like Balebo. What the name again? Baleba, yes,
Baleba.
coming up.
Yeah.
Yes, and we seem to forget like names like Heaven was also it's transfers that we made within the season. So it's a good or it's been a good transfer season so far. So it's positive and I'm glad. On paper, we look like a winning team, but when the league starts, it's a clean sheet for everyone. It doesn't really matter who you bought. It's a clean start for everyone. So I'm just hoping that things will click for the team and the tactics will go. And I've watched our preseason throughout this period, and it's been impressive so far. I've seen signs, and I've seen that the issues that we were facing last season has been identified with our how we press when we are not with the ball and how we control the balls also. So it's been positive so far, and I'm just hoping they'll build that momentum into the new season. When we drew with Everton and this past weekend, you could see the disappointment on the faces of the guys at the end of the match, which said a team that is aiming for more and not just draws this season. It's good, but for the teams that will be a top team to battle with this season, I won't mention just one team. Personally, I think City will be one. I chanced on a video of one of their training, and it was something else. I think Liverpool we won't see the same Liverpool. I think it will be a different Liverpool, but the transfers that they made also is very it's a good transfer also with the likes of Hugo. I watch some of his clips and he's very fast, and so I think with such a player, he'll always create that competition or that threat for defenders. And Chelsea also. Chelsea has had, for me personally, they've had the toughest pre-season of all because they played in the World Cup, the Club World Cup. So they faced tough teams. They had time to fix their mistakes also. So Chelsea will also be there. And one team we are also underrating, which can be costly also, is Tottenham. They are doing very well, and I think they'll also be threat this season. So it's going to be a really really good season, and so we are just hoping and praying that it won't be as bad as last season was for Manchester. Yeah.
Okay. As you said, it wouldn't be as bad as last season. We are looking for Amorim putting up a good shift. Now he's getting players he wants and also being able to bring Man United back to those glory days. Raf, let's look at Liverpool, the Premier League champions, going into another season. They weren't just silent during the transfer windows. They are making big moves in the transfer windows. And if Isak will be included in the team, meaning they would have two key strikers going into the season, replacing the late Jota and also Darwin Núñez, who has recently moved. Do you think going into next season, and Slot's getting these players, would he have a good season under the Premier League with new set of players, or you think that it would have a little changes in the setup and also the style of play? And going into the Premier League, which team do you think can battle Liverpool when it comes to the title or the Premier League trophy?
Well, I'd like to say thank you again. And for the question you asked me, Liverpool have made some good signings. I mean, Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Jeremy Frimpong and all the other guys. Yes, some said it's not going to be the same Liverpool which played last season, which is very true. The core of the team is there. I mean, the key midfielders were there. Our top scorer, Mohamed Salah, is there. But, of course, we lost some players too. I mean, Diogo Jota is gone. Darwin Núñez confirmed today that Al Hilal will be signing Darwin. Simone Inzaghi has expressed interest in him. Luis Diaz is going to Bayern. So it means that in terms of the attacking powers, we have some guys who are not part of the team currently. And the new ones are now going to fit themselves into the league proper. I mean, preseason is preseason. You might see the players performing well. When it comes to the real Premier League itself, it's a different ballgame altogether. I mean, I don't normally, yes, preseason is a good preparatory ground for players and then the coaching staff for the new season. But when the Premier League kickstarts, when the mid-table teams are flying high, pressing you, doing the low block, that is when you are going to see the best that comes from your players. So I believe Alexander Isak, for how things are going, will join Liverpool because there is no way Liverpool will sell Darwin Núñez without not replacing him. And then Isak's head has been turned now. I mean, I feel for Newcastle as a Liverpool fan. Sometimes when a player wants to leave your club, the way they force themselves, I mean, it's happened to us, Felipe Coutinho and all. So I believe at the end of the day, lastly, Newcastle will just give up and then we'll get Alexander Isak and it's going to be a different game altogether. I'll come to the Liverpool aspect and how we're, but I've also seen that some of the team have also strengthened in their various departments. For example, Spurs like this have signed Joao Palhinha, a top midfielder who was playing at Fulham before he went to Bayern, which didn't work too well for him. Spurs with Mohamed Kudus, Sonny is going. They have this Johnson guy, Dominic Solanke. So that is why the Premier League is the best league. I mean, if you look at Chelsea beating Paris Saint-Germain, I mean, super performance. As you said, they had the toughest preseason, and they are ready also for the league. Man United, Ruben Amorim, his boys, Kunwa and Mbuemo. And I heard he's also trying to get he wants to also sign Carlos Baleba, the Cameroonian international. It means that all these teams are strengthening and they want to compete. Nobody wants to play very badly, nothing like that. So it's competitive. It will be difficult for me to say. But for now, the last season's form, Arsenal also has the core. Arsenal's core members are there who can also cause havoc. They didn't, many players didn't depart their team, unlike Liverpool. They still have their Saka. They still have their Martinellis. I heard Man United wanted to bid for Trossard. I don't know how that move has turned on, but I heard they wanted to touch on Leonard Trossard. But I don't know.
Trossard, there was
so
a move
Arsenal also has the core and they have added. Arsenal's core, the core team is there. And
there was Brentford that were looking at bringing in Trossard. But I don't know how the development has also gone from there.
Okay. So it means that all the teams are strengthened. And somebody will say that one of Man United's problem was Onana. Somebody asked me how far with their goalkeeping issues. And I told a friend that, I still believe Onana will still be in that post. Since he has his Cameroonian brother there, he's also going to do well. So I believe with the league, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal are going to compete. It's going to be a very difficult one. A World Cup is a World Cup year. Next year, hopefully, we are entering the World Cup season or the World Cup year. Every player wants to give their 100% in terms of performance, and then we'll see who and what is going to turn up at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, so as we are looking at today's preview of the new Premier League season, we want to look at some deeper things, especially our predictions on next season. So I'll ask my pundits on which 4 teams they are tipping to be in the top 4. Who do you think would be the top scorer? Which teams will go on relegation? And also, which manager do you think will be sacked first? So we'll go into them and ask each person on what they think. But don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share this channel, Tactics and Touchlines, to your friend. Recommend it so that they can all watch amazing programs coming into the Premier League season. We give you in-depth analysis, match tactics, and everything you need to know, especially when the season starts. So let me start from Prince. Looking at this season, which teams do you think would go on relegation for the start? And also, we'll look at which player are you tipping to win the Golden Boot, and also which are your 4 teams you are tipping to make the top 4. And if you think a manager will be sacked, what manager do you think would be sacked earlier?
Okay, so I think that should be about 5 questions about this. So let me start with the relegation. I think Everton should be careful. They are not making any signings to beef up their squad. And I heard David Moyes complaining that he needs about 5 signings to start off the league. So Everton has been one team that has survived relegation 2 seasons ago. They survived relegation, and I think that last game saved them. So Everton, if they don't beef up their squad, I think they would have to press. Maybe you have to play in the championship. And Sunderland might be safe because of the signings they're doing. They're really signing so in there, and it will help them probably. It will save them like they did with Nottingham Forest last season. So I see Everton. So I'm looking at Everton.
Yeah.
I'm looking at which other team came? Which are the other teams that joined?
We have Burnley, Sunderland, and Leeds United.
Burnley and Sunderland.
Burnley might go. Burnley might go back. Burnley might also go back. The other one that came with Sunderland.
Leeds United.
Yeah, Leeds United. So I'm looking at Leeds, Burnley, and Everton.
Okay, and who would be your top scorer for the season?
I would go for Gyökeres.
Okay, Victor Gyökeres. And your top 4, who would win the league? Who would be on second? Who would be on third and fourth?
I already started laughing because Arsenal will win the league. Arsenal will win the league. So second, I would have to give it to the third.
Is that second you give to who?
Liverpool.
Okay.
Liverpool will be second. The third.
And the third?
Man City, because of their experience when it comes to the top four.
And
the fourth would have to be between Chelsea and United.
Chelsea and United. Okay. So we'll put your predictions down, and maybe mid-season or at the end of the season, we'll review all our predictions.
Which coach will be sacked?
Which coach will be sacked first? Yes.
I'm looking at Amorim if his system doesn't work. There is what I'm saying, Amorim, because I've actually mentioned a few of my guys with the fact that I don't know how he's going to play Ahmad and Mbeumo, because it looks like Ahmad is much more useful when he's playing closer to the box. And it happened that he went to get Odogu, which he tried him on the right wing, which he didn't play well, so he had to take him back to the left wing. And I really don't know why they are bringing in Sesko, because I feel like they could use that money to get a DM and a goalkeeper, because I feel like up front, if Cunha is on form, if Mbeumo is on form, if Bruno Fernandes, these three guys can give you much more goals if you are going to add Sesko. I don't know why Sesko is coming in, but at least for the up front there, I think you have Mbeumo who can give you much more goals, who gave 20 goals last season. And you have Cunha, you have Bruno Fernandes playing behind them. I think these guys are goal poachers, so I really don't know why they want to go for Sesko. But I feel like that money can be used in getting in someone midfield to help Ugarte and Kobe Mainoo, and probably a goalkeeper. You understand? Donnarumma is on the market. At least getting Donnarumma, it's way better than Onana, honestly. So, and they've not even bought a defender to help their defense. So I think if Amorim doesn't set up his team well, he might be the first coach to, if not the first, probably the second or the third
to be sacked. Okay. So Raf, let me come to you. Which three clubs do you think will go on relegation this season?
Wow. The Premier League has become so competitive that when you come in and you're not giving your best. Now, most of the times, the team that comes into the Premier League, first of all, the first thing you have to do is you must be defensively solid. You understand? You must be very, very solid defensively. If you don't concede, you don't score. If you don't score, you must not concede, especially if you're a new team coming into the Premiership. And if you could look at the teams that came to the Premiership and they stayed for a long time, we quite remember Sean Dykes. When he came with his Burnley team, he was defensively solid. He couldn't concede, and he was in the league until they started criticizing his style, his formation, how he set up his team, and then he decided to open up, and then he was loose. And then so Scott Parker with Burnley so far have not made any sign so far. But Sunderland, I wanted to tip Sunderland. They have this French coach, Regris de Brie, is a French name or something. But with Burnley, it is Scott Parker. The transfer they're going to put in place. Because when Nottingham Forest came, they struggled like that. And then they became defensively solid under the former, this guy, Nuno Espirito Santo. So it depends on how Burnley are going to set up, and then the other teams. Leeds United will come in and open up, and then they are going to be exploited. So I feel maybe since Burnley are enough in the transfer window, I see Burnley going back to the and maybe Sunderland. So those two. But for Leeds United, they have some quality. Now I think Burnley and Sunderland going back to the championship. And also, Ben, did you ask me about the top scorer also?
Yeah, the top scorer.
Yes. The top scorer, Erling Haaland is there. Of course, City are going to supply him with the balls. When they go to Manchester City, he makes sure that he tells his boys, give the balls to Erling Haaland. I don't know for Arsenal. That is why I was telling Prince that Bukayo Saka wants to score, Martinelli wants to score. And we had that discussion. If only Arteta is going to instruct the guys to give the ball to Gyökeres, fair enough. But with Liverpool, he's our star man, Mo Salah. So it will be between Mo Salah and Haaland. It depends on who will be clinical and do the attacker who will not sustain more injuries. Injuries affected Haaland last season. That was why Salah had it easier. I'll be very honest. If not for that, Haaland would have competed Salah closely for the Golden Boot title or Golden Boot award, I should say. So, as a Liverpool fan, of course, I'll say Mohamed Salah is going to win the Golden Boot.
Okay, and let's look at your top four. Which team will win the Premier League, second, third, and also the fourth position?
My bias will tell me Liverpool will win the league, followed by Arsenal, Manchester City, and Chelsea.
And which manager do you think will be sacked first?
Scott Parker, Burnley.
Scott Parker. Okay. So Sam, let's look at the teams you are tipping to go on relegation, and also tell us about the player you think would also have the Golden Boot at the end of the season.
All right, I'm quite surprised you guys are Burnley to go back to Championship. I'm not sure you guys watched their games last in the Championship. Burnley lost only 2 games. They lost only 2 games in the Championship. They had one of the best low blocks and the best defense in the Championship last season. And if they bring the same vibe in the EPL, then it's going to be very hard for teams to score them. So for me personally, I don't really tip Burnley going back to the Championship. My team that might go back, that we are overlooking, I think one, Nottingham Forest. Now I'm saying this because of the back and forth with the rectors and the managers. I think it will be an issue this season, and they've sold Elanga, who was one of their top players last season, and their issue with Gibbs also. If Gibbs is in his right mind or his right game of mind playing, then fine. But I'm sure per all the fracas that went on with him, he won't be in that total 100% if the league starts. So Nottingham Forest is at that threat also going down. And my second will be Wolves also. I've not really seen Wolves making any signing. If we could remember, they also had a very bad season last season also. So Wolves also is in that danger of going down in the relegation battle. And Everton also, as we said, Everton needs those experienced legs in there. They find ways to narrowly escape relegation. So I think this season will be a very tough season if you're being honest. So yes, these teams can go down to the relegation, and I'm seeing this. Nottingham Forest can also face this FFP issues also. So there are many issues that can send Nottingham to relegation if care is not taken. So my top 3 will be Wolves, Nottingham, and Everton. And players to take the Golden Boots. Eric is still in there. Eric Haaland is still in there. Salah also. We know Salah will give you double figures when the league starts. So I'm tipping it at Haaland or Salah, one of them to get the Golden Boot. The wild card, if it wasn't for all these things surrounding Isak, I'm sure Isak would have been in that conversation also. But even if he moves to Liverpool, there will be this tension, there will be this news around him, so he'll be in that right frame of mind to play very well. So I'm tipping just these two, Eric Haaland and Mohamed Salah, to be the big names when the season starts. Now for my top 4, it will be tough for Pep to fail twice. That's what I'm saying. If Pep fails again, then the road to an end of an era. So yeah, so Man City might do it again because I think basically they still have the same shape that they are playing in. They're just trying players to fit in certain area, and it's just the same Pep. With Liverpool, it will be a new system. Slot will start playing his own system now. They will still be dangerous also. So Liverpool second, and I think even Liverpool will fight it out with Chelsea. I'm saying Chelsea will be, if things don't go bad for Chelsea, Chelsea will be a threat this season because they are coming in with that very hot momentum from the club World Cup. So Chelsea third and fourth, Tottenham. I think Tottenham will pull through. I'm being honest. Tottenham will slot in there somehow. One might ask why am I not mentioning
Putting Man United or Arsenal. I've not heard of Man United
for
or Arsenal.
Arsenal. Now, let me explain. I've watched almost all the Arsenal pre-season matches. I've watched all the Arsenal pre-season matches. Right, last season Arsenal depended on dead balls, free kicks, and corners to get most of their goals. This season they are still playing that U-shaped football in which you pass the ball to them in midfield. You look at someone on the wings, you play the ball to the wings. If things does not go, or you look for corners, then you play corners and win from that side. It won't work this season. I watched their pre-season match, and there's this young chap that played today. What is his name?
Max Dauman.
There's this young right winger that played today. Max Dauman. Yeah. This might be wild, but I'm saying Goikers have a higher chance of scoring more goals if he plays with that guy. I like Zubimendi, no doubt. He knows how to find players. He knows how to play the balls in the pocket, but defensively, he's very poor. If you go back to watch the highlights, you realize that defensive shape that Arsenal boasted of very well last season, this season will be a problem because they use counter and a slide balls to score them all those 3 goals. So things will change for Arsenal this season unless they go back to their old shape and they play. For Man U, I won't mention them because it will be, they'll find a way to slot in the top 5 or the top 6. If Man U get into the top 4, that's fine. But listen, they don't really have any match excuse this season, and I know this season that in their favor because they are just playing 1 game per week because there is no Europe football. So after Saturday games or Sunday games, they have enough time to rest and play the next game. So Man U will do very well, but placing them in the top 4 with teams that have been built already for several seasons, it's a wild card. So my top 4 still remains City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and yes, Tottenham.
Okay, and the manager you're thinking will get sacked firstly during the season.
Then Nottingham Forest manager. What's his name again?
Nuno Espirito Santo.
Nuno, yes. Nuno might, which I think will be wrong. But with the how their director moves, I'm sure he'll surely get fired. That's the only names that come in mind. And Moyes also. I think if things going very bad for Everton, Moyes might be sacked. Yes, and this is no banter, but I'm saying this: if Arsenal goes under season without trophy, they have to sack Arteta. I'm being honest. If Arsenal goes a whole season again without any trophy, this is 6 years of you not getting any trophy. Oh, come on. Yeah.
Okay. So with me, my three teams, I'm tipping them to go on relegation. I think my first to be Brentford. Why I'm saying Brentford is they are selling a lot of players, but they are not making a lot of additions. And if you could see Mbuemo is gone, they are looking at Wisa going, and also maybe Kelvin Shada would be the only upfront man for them. So they'll be battling, especially for relegation. I think Burnley would also go on relegation because they saw their number one goalkeeper who was performing so well for them. And I'm tipping between Everton and Leeds United. One of these two teams will also join these two in relegation. And also my top scorer, I think Erling Haaland would be the top scorer at the end of the season because last season, as Raf said, injuries stepped in and he couldn't reach the potentials we're all looking at him getting. With my top four, I'll start from the fourth position. I think on the fourth position, I would go for Ruben Amorim's Man United. I'm seeing some signs, and I think some one or two signings. If they could get Baleba, they could enter into the top four. On the third position, I think Man City would be third on that particular spot. Liverpool would be second, and also Chelsea would win the Premier League. That is my top four. And also the manager that may get sacked at the beginning of the season, I'm tipping either David Moyes, depending on the way he's criticizing their transfers, will play a big factor. And also Scott Parker, he has that history of anytime he qualifies a team into the Premier League, he gets sacked again. So maybe Scott Parker and David Moyes will be one of the managers that will be sacked at the end of the season. So we are all waiting for the season to start. We'll have our first match preview between Man United and Liverpool on the show. So you need to subscribe, turn on notification, and also get to watch that. There will be a heated show between Sam and also Prince on that particular game. So all that we are saying is that subscribe to the channel and be part of our show. Scan the QR code to join the Telegram group, have discussions on the FPL and also other football banters we have on there so that you can also enjoy the euphoria we have, especially off cameras, and be part of the show. So thank you all for joining us on Tactics and Touchline. We are looking forward for you to also be part of the show as the season